Good evening. It's Lynda Murray with Fresh Conversations and our recipe of the month. I flew in on my broomstick and we're going to be featuring a baked oatmeal muffin. So one of the key ingredients of this recipe is the oatmeal is baked. We're not using it from a raw state. So we'll come over here where our oatmeal is cooking. To our 2 1/4 cups boiling water, I'm going to add 2 1/2 cups of oatmeal. The recipe asks for you to boil this for 1 minute. In the context of time, I'm going to go ahead and turn the burn off and let it sit here. And we'll add our other ingredients and come back. I can even do the two-hand spin with my broomstick. Now, how talented is that? This is so easy, anybody can do it, witch or not. Be careful about losing your hat, though, because you might get blue hairs in the recipe, and that would not be good. So let's go ahead and start here. To our mixture, we're going to add 2 eggs. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. The recipe called for 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. When I tried this on audiences, they didn't like the flavor. I actually did a muffin taste test. I doubled the brown sugar to 4 tablespoons, which still is a low amount of sugar for 12 muffins. 1 teaspoon baking powder. You may or may not be aware, they do sell low sodium baking powder, so if someone was watching their sodium content, you could add that. Go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1/4 cup of milk. Now for my apple, doesn't this have a beautiful shade of green? I think my next foundation will be that color. Yes, I think so. I went ahead and used my apple peeler core. Come on, muscles. Right down the middle of that. That's going to take away the core, and then I used my knife to go ahead and remove the peel. Now you can use the peel in this recipe if you so desire, but I did not because the fruit that I used was mango. Look at that beautiful fall color. Now using my kitchen shears, I went ahead and snipped this just ever so slightly. Reminds me of snipping the head off of newts. It was a really fun move for me. And then you go ahead and add that to your recipe. The recipe called for 1/4 cup of dried fruit. I went ahead and added a 1/2 cup. I'm going to mix this all together. I actually asked you to beat it up with a fork, so either a spoon or a fork works well. Just want something a little bit larger because I've got these ginormous sleeves on. It would be fun to mix this up in my big cauldron pot, but it would get stuck in there and then you wouldn't like it. Also, the recipe called for that apple, so let's make sure we get that in there so we don't forget that while our oatmeal has a few more minutes while it's sitting on top of the stove. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the wonderful properties about oats. Oats contain a fiber called soluble fiber, that's S-O-L-U-T-I-O-N. Soluble fiber is the solution to help reduce chronic health problems, unlike insoluble fiber, which is better for bowel activity. Now, when I first became a dietitian, fiber was not even on food labels. The reason why? Scientists didn't think it was very important. Fast forward about 30 years, Dr. Dennis Burkitt wrote his book, Don't Forget Fiber in your diet to reduce many of our commonest diseases. And that book was a bestseller, and people started taking a second look at fiber. Suddenly it was more important than just allowing for regular trips to the outhouse. So we know fiber does so much for us. I actually did a newspaper column prepared yesterday. It talks about when we take our whole grains and refine them into a white processed grain, it removes 18 key vitamins and minerals. That's right, 18. Only 5 are replaced. What we've got is left a piece of bread or white tortilla or white pasta that has been stripped of 80% of its disease-fighting antioxidant ability. So this naked grain clearly is inferior to a whole grain. Whole grains are king when it comes to unequaled antioxidant protection. 6 times more magnesium. That's 6 times more magnesium and vitamin K. Think reduction in constipation, tummy troubles, leg cramps. 14 times more vitamin E. They're believing that that could be possibly linked to dementia and some other nutrients as well. So that's just a smattering. Let's take a look at our oats and see what they've done. Okay, let's see that they are ready to add to our recipe. So we'll go ahead and stir those in. This muffin is extremely portable, so we don't always have time in the morning to grab a bowl of oatmeal and jump in the car, but we could definitely grab a muffin and eat that on the way to our destination. So just blending this all together very well. Did you know mango is the world's most popular fruit? It is. They believe that it can reduce the risk of macular degeneration. Studies are still pending on that, but it appears very, very promising. Save your sight, eat a mango. There we go. Okay, so I've got this well blended here now. Do not use the muffin liners on this recipe. I tried that on a test batch with dismal results. It does not work. Like I said, I did a taste test recipe on the staff in the office, and the mango muffin was by far their favorite one. Now what I'm going to do to portion this out is I have a 1/3 cup measure here. I'm going to spray this really well with some nonstick spray. It's going to allow the batter to slip out easily. Take your nonstick spray, spray really good your muffin tin, and to make cleanup easier, I just go ahead. You know how you always miss some batter and get it stuck in between there? That's going to make cleanup much easier for you. So this is going to make 12 muffins. This is a little bit runnier than your recipe will probably come out because I didn't allow it to sit real long and absorb up all the water on top of the stove. But portioning this out. Then we're going to go ahead and bake this in a preheated oven at 350 degrees. And then when we pull these out, voila, aren't those beautiful? And you can see the beautiful, vibrant mango color in those muffins. So pretty enough for company. Dress them up with a few colorful picks. Oopsie. So let's just give it a whirl here. Look at the beautiful fruit in there. Very good. I'm thinking if you heated this up in a microwave, if you had access to that with a cup of coffee, would be really, really good. Taste participants at ISU Extension warmed it up with a little yogurt on the top. So it leads itself to some nice variations. So, this has been Lynda Murray with another Fresh Conversations Recipe of the Month. Got a zip off on my broomstick now. Happy Halloween!